Community safety matters to me, and there are so many things that I could say today about my desire to see the Youth Justice Act rewritten to remove the provision of detention as a last resort, to talk about early intervention, the fact that police numbers are going backwards. But the best thing I can do today is to allow Melissa to tell her story. And when Melissa tells her story, I want Queenslanders to think about what the priority of the government is. When Melissa tells her story, I want Queenslanders to reflect on what is happening in Brisbane at the moment. When Melissa tells her story, I want Queenslanders to explain in their mind whether or not their government is interested in Queenslanders or in some sort of Game of Thrones. Because Melissa's story is as powerful as you will find. Over to you, Melissa.
Sorry, this is probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, apart from the other day. I want the government to do something about what is going on in Townsville. I have never felt so scared in my life. I simply went to go Christmas shopping the other day. I've come up around the corner here, and this car was stopping and starting in front of me. It was a Ford Everest that subsequently had run into two police cars here as well. So they eventually backed up around this corner, backed up behind me, and started ramming into the back of my Land Cruiser in front of everybody, and nobody helped me. I beat my horn so loud to try and get help. There was no help, so I had to speed right up to the lights at Ross River Road. They were red and they were chasing me and ramming me. I had to run a red light over 4 lanes of traffic. Then I somehow tried to regroup and just gone as fast as I could in my Land Cruiser, which is a manual. I've gone down to the Aikenvale school to try and grab my phone to call for help. They've come around the side of me in the Ford Everest with the bull bar, and they've continued to ram me in the driver's side. One of the children hopped out. He threatened me and said, "Don't F with our gang, you and they took a weapon out and started smashing the back of the glass of my Land Cruiser to threaten me. I somehow saw an opportunity, and then I've sped all the way back to a neighbourhood that I know around tight corners, like just driving as fast as I could, and they were on my tail. And then I've got it to a neighbourhood I know has cameras because I didn't know where else to go. And I'm screaming out at the top of my lungs for help. And then I thought the only thing I can do is jump the curb. There's evidence with the cameras, there's people around. And then they've ran the back of my vehicle continually, and their bull bar is hooked onto my tow bar, and they started pulling me back. I've never been so scared in my life. And then they've hopped out the car. 4 kids. My neighbour thinks one had a gun at the back. Another one came to my window with a wrench to hurt me. And one of my amazing neighbours named Damien. This man is a hero and he deserves an award. He's gone and chased them up. And then all of these other people have come out of the woodwork and helped me. Again, I have never been so scared in my life. You can't comprehend what it feels like. They were ready to kill me. They actually wanted to kill me. And later on, the tow place said that they've actually followed my cruiser and threatened them, and they were going to probably burn my vehicle. And then apparently they've come back around all the streets again the next day. Then I've read in the news that they went on a big rampage. They've rammed police vehicles, hurt people, broken into houses. This has to stop, okay? This has to stop. People cannot live like this anymore. I fear for my children's safety. I fear for my family's safety. This is a nice community if we don't have this crime going on anymore. Sorry.
So much.
Listening to that story is just almost unbelievable that this is happening in our community. We have somebody that is hunted down in their vehicle on their way home from doing a day's work, going about her business, hunted down and fearing for her life. This is what our community is dealing with, and as you heard today, they have had enough. This is harrowing, and it has to stop.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for sharing that, because, as you said, not many people. We can see and hear the emotion, how real that is. How do you, I guess, explain any of that and sort of retell that incident actually happened to you? You believe that it happened?
I can't believe it happened. I can't believe that we actually have to be scared of children. What are we doing as a community that we're not parenting our children in an effective way, that they feel that they need to threaten or kill other people to feel in control of their lives? It's not okay.
So you're here just getting some Christmas shopping?
Yeah.
Was it just during the middle of the day? That was...
About 6:30, I've come down to ramp on Nathan Street and up around.
And do you have any indication of why they may have set their sights on you?
Because I have a Land Cruiser and it's their favourite vehicles to steal. They would have seen it behind them and they've targeted me.
This happened after you had done the shopping?
Yes. Yeah.
And after they started ramming you, you went home, is that right?
It,
Back to your...
can we? Yeah.
To a neighbourhood that she knows.
To a neighbourhood I know. Yeah.
How recent was this?
This was Thursday night, the 7th of December. Yeah.
Have you ever had any Russians with crime before? Is this the first one? And I guess, how does that make you feel in terms of being safe in the community?
I haven't had someone break into my house and I haven't had someone chase my vehicle. I haven't had a vehicle stolen, but we've had lots of people caught on camera, looking at our place, trying to open our car, things like that. And we've had neighbours, and there's one a month beforehand on the same street where two children lined up with 2 4 drives, lined his car up, pushed it down the street and flipped it.
You said there were people here, but
No one came to help me.
How does that make you feel?
Disgusting, actually. I mean, I understand people are trying to protect themselves, but disgusting. I saw a bunch of men lined up and I thought, if I can get myself out of this situation, how can you not help me? I would help you. I believe it's 4. Yeah.
And young kids or...
Yes. Yeah. I'd say 14 to 16. Yeah.
Were they wearing face covering, masks?
Yeah, the others weren't that I can remember, and the one that hopped out and threatened me wasn't. But the driver had a balaclava on because I was looking out when he started ramming me on the side. We made eye contact. Yeah.
Obviously, this has taken a very long time.
Yep.
That's so clear. There's also a financial
Yep.
consequence.
My vehicle actually got written off yesterday, I got told, for Christmas. Thank you. Yeah.
How is this affecting you? Like you said, ahead of that time, this was supposed to be about connecting with family or being
Yeah.
at this time of year. Has this kind of thrown all that?
Yep, I haven't been sleeping properly. I'm not quite myself. Feeling emotional. Angry. Really angry.
Well, listen, this is a hard question,
Yep.
but you say that we need change.
Yep.
What do you think
I think the laws have to get harsher, and in particular for repeat offenders or for anyone that does something like that is so violent and they want to threaten and kill you. I literally feel that that's what they wanted to do. They didn't care. Some of those people, I believe, had gotten out of juvenile detention and they've done it again. Why aren't these people having bracelets, ankle bracelets, to know where they're going? Why aren't we doing mandatory parenting programs so that better parenting? We need programs where I feel that children should be out in an environment where they've got to learn about teamwork, work ethic, have good morals and values, be a good little citizen in community. Parents of repeat offenders should be accountable for their kids' behaviour. I'm accountable for my children's behaviour. Why are they not? Like, it's just, so many things could happen, and it's not. And what if the next person gets killed? What's the excuse then? We know what's going on. Like, it's not okay. Still haven't finished off my report, but they were really good. They came, but the interesting thing is they told me, the police that came that night, they had just seen them at Red Rooster hanging out of the car and things like that. So those particular police happened to come to my call. They were just around the corner. So they knew. Yeah.
Melissa, do you mind asking how many children do you have?
2. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's about as powerful as it gets. Over to you.
We've seen extra police brought in because of the state of crime, I guess, for the last week or so. But it hasn't deterred kids. There's still posting videos as early as today of their antics and stolen cars. Obviously, they don't care about how many police there are.
It's a generation of untouchables, and they know that the law's weak as water, and they know that the law puts the rights of the victims a distant second to the rights of them. And I just want Queenslanders to listen to Melissa's story and understand why change is so important. It is so important. This can't go on. You know, the last week for this city has been ground zero. Police cars rammed, multiple police cars rammed, cars torched, people broken into and violated in their homes, cars tipped in the water, people flogged with baseball bats in Townsville. This is a proud city. It's a place where people matter, and it can't go on. And when you see the vision from Melissa's story, when you hear the story, the government can't say that this is just a minor issue. This is a defining moment in the future of this city, in the future of this state. And there might be other priorities in Brisbane at the moment for the government, but that's not my priority. My priority is making sure that people can feel safe, and that's why I'm here.
Just quickly, I don't think it gets much worse than it is in Townsville right now, but we're hearing this is happening all over the state.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you bet. Yes. It's everywhere. Now, this city was ground zero, and it was the first city that stood up when the laws were watered down 8 years ago and said this is going to end in heartache. And to the credit of this city, they called it. But it's across the board. Toowoomba is copping it again, and that was a place that a couple of years ago saw the escalation that just continued to rip the heart and soul out of that community. And I got reports from Harvey Bay just the other day, but it's everywhere. It's north of Cairns, it's Mackay, it's Rocky, it's Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, north and south of Brisbane, out to the Isa, communities in between. There is a generation who are laughing at the lawmakers, and the lawmakers are playing some sort of Game of Thrones. And it just defies logic that at a time when our state is in the grip of a youth crime crisis, a housing crisis, a health crisis, you've got the government not even speaking a thing about anything other than their political interests. How did we get here? How did we get here?
David, you said if you're elected next year, there'll be consequences for actions as well as starting to mention
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, it means that the Youth Justice Act is going to be rewritten, and it's going to happen from day one. Detention as a last resort will be removed from the Youth Justice Act. We're going to get serious about making sure that early intervention works. Not just say we're spending this money on it, we're going to target the programs that matter. The resi care system that is broken in this state will be reformed, and there will be discipline, and there will be hope and opportunity. And I'm serious about going right through this. Everything from when kids start going off the rails to the kind of kids who made Melissa's the worst experience someone will ever get going to buy their kids Christmas presents. And at the moment, the government is failing at both ends of the spectrum. They're failing the repeat hardcore offenders who need to have the book thrown at them, and they're also failing the next generation of young crims by not giving that support to turn their lives around. It is a broken system, and change must come.
David, Steve Miles likely to be the next premier. What do you think of that decision? Is he the best person for the job?
The government's running around chasing numbers and votes, and Queenslanders are being chased in the streets. I can tell you where my priority is. That's the government's priority. What we have seen unfold in Queensland, there's not a Queenslander who hasn't looked at that and shaken their head. We are in the shadows of Christmas, and Queenslanders have never been more scared. Financially, in terms of law and order, and the government's playing some sort of games of thrones and not focusing a thing on the things that matter to Queensland. We've got so yesterday morning I saw people living in tents. I then came here where a city's being wrecked by youth crime. There's a cyclone about to cross the coast, and the government's concern is about political numbers and manoeuvring after forcing a premier out of office. I'll let Queenslanders judge. I will let Queenslanders judge whether or not the priority of this government are the priorities that lining up with them as they face the struggle of keeping a roof over their head, being safe inside the home, and whether or not an ambulance will turn up in your hour of need. The government in Queensland is broken, and what we have seen in the last week unfold in front of Queensland has left everybody shaking their head. And there's one thing for certain, nothing will change in this state until government changes, because these guys do not have the right priority for Queenslanders.
Is it enough for them to show a fresh team to focus on renewal?
I see the same people who have led to the same crises that are gripping Queensland, and I want Queenslanders to know that there is a better way. And I want Queenslanders to know that my priority are the priorities that they've been telling me about for the last 3 years as I've got around this state. And I'll let the government be consumed by themselves. I'm listening to Queenslanders. Health, housing, youth crime, cost of living, burning through people. They're my focuses. They're my priorities. That's what matters to Queenslanders. I'll let the government do their own games of thrones.
How do you feel about the timing when we've got, like you said, a cyclone going down on the...
Just defies belief. Defies belief. Do you want to know why I'm here in Townsville? I'm here in Townsville because I haven't heard a peep from the government, despite the worst week of youth crime this city has seen. Not a peep. The only focus out of Brisbane has been who has the numbers after forcing a premier out of office. A city in the grip of youth crime, Queenslanders living out of tents, a cyclone crossing the coast, health continuing to spiral out of control, and the government's worried about chasing votes, while Melissa is talking about being chased in the streets. There you go.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thanks very much.